All right, time for another episode of the Nerdy Virgin podcast. I should bring on my cyst as a guest. I described my cyst. For those of you who may be just joining in, I found out I have a pineal cyst in my brain. Probably going to be okay. A friend of a friend who was a doctor called me and he's like, dude, you got to chill out. You got to calm down. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And that got me about 4 or 5 days of going, okay, I'm not going to worry about it. And then I started worrying about it again. And what I'm finding, here's the thing. I like to talk about it to as many people as possible because I keep reading that this is a common thing, and yet I have yet to run into someone who also has it. And they say that, I have yet to... Finally I've ran into somebody who said, oh, well, they have a friend who, and they have to get it checked every year. And I'm like, every year. So I immediately jumped from, is this going to kill me, to, oh, this is a scam. Every year. Most of the time, it's not a big deal. Most of the time, people live their whole lives, they don't even know they have it. And this is what I get for being diligent about my health. Can I just say, too, my diet has been awful. As soon as I read that there seems to be no correlation between diet and whether or not you get one of these things, it was full-on Pop-Tarts. Okay, I'm a huge fan of Honda. Okay, I cannot stand the Honda Fit. And if you have a Honda Fit, I don't mean to insult you. I know plenty of people I know one person who has a Honda Fit and they love it and it really is great. I took one for a test drive. How many times do you have to turn the steering wheel before you actually turn the wheel? It felt like I was just very loose steering. I mean, I'm not saying I need a Corvette here, but I'm walking by what I think is a parrot that lives in a tree. How have the neighbors in this neighborhood not killed this parrot yet? Is it somebody's pet? I mean, it's the middle of the night and the thing just keeps squawking. It's 10:15 p.m. What is the parrot doing? Why is the parrot not asleep? Is it shrieking for help? Is it even a parrot? I don't know. Maybe it's something else. It's suddenly very noisy. The whole point of me recording this at night is that it's normally quieter than this, but suddenly it's got a person playing loud music over here in their car. You've got a plane flying overhead. You've got a parrot. It's very, very active today. The issue is that now every time I have any little pain in my head, I'm like, is that it? Is this the end? Is that? What about now? But I just have to wait until July when they do another MRI. And we'll see what happens. And I've got to be on pins and needles about this. I feel like there's not going to be a resolution. It's going to be, because they're not going to want to go in unless they absolutely have to go in. I don't want them to go in unless they absolutely have to go in. And by go in, I mean surgery. So I may have this the rest of my life. I may need to check it once a year now. That's where I think it's going to go. Well, you never know where it's going to go. Wouldn't it be great if they said, yeah, we did one more test and you never need to check it again? Wouldn't that be nice? Do you think that's what'll happen? Do you think I'll get any kind of relief? Why do I feel like if that happens and they're like, you know what? Not only do you never have to get it checked again, it's going to add years to your life. I feel like if that's what I got a day later, I'd have a heart attack. Like it'd be something else would go wrong. The Buddha always gives you just enough problems. I read that somewhere. It's a Buddhist saying, obviously. I mean, why wouldn't it be a Buddhist saying? I heard this old Jewish saying, the Buddha always gives you enough problems. What is the Buddha doing over there? He came to visit. He probably did. I mean, we could go into a whole long discussion about the universalities of every single religion and the spiritual truths that recur across multiple different faiths. But I think that's a different podcast. All I know is I ate Welch's fruit snacks and a banana, and now I'm nauseous. Oh, one of the symptoms of the cyst is getting out of control, nausea. So now I get to have that game in my head. Mother's Day passed. It's been coming up on a year and a half, really, since my mom passed away. And, this Mother's Day, I feel guilty because I'm so absorbed with the cyst thing that's what's on my mind. So as my late mother used to say, if you have a problem, sometimes the best way to solve it is with a bigger problem. And that's what appears to be happening. I will reiterate, I'm glad that she's not alive for me to tell her about this, because this would have freaked her out. Maybe it wouldn't have. I don't know what it would have done. I think it would have. Well, now she doesn't have to worry. Or she still is worried. I wouldn't put it past her. Found a way to worry beyond the grave. Entirely possible. Can I tell you the headaches? The reason why I got the MRI was because, the headache just felt different. It wasn't, worse. It felt different. So I wanted to get it checked. But they didn't really start until after my mom died. So now I'm thinking, did my mom give me the cyst? Have I found a way to misdirect anger at my mother, who is A, dead, and B, no possible way could have caused this? Is that entirely possible? The things I feel bad for is I would misdirect anger at her. Usually when she was calling me out on being wrong. So on top of that guilt, now there's Jeff, the pineal cyst. What am I going to do for dinner? I want ramen. Every time I get ramen, I get sick. I love ramen, and yet I can't handle ramen. It says Achenvei. I might go get a cup of noodles. I know it's not good for me, but it does kind of hit the spot. I think I'm going to get a cup of I am talking myself into getting a cup of noodles. ladies and gentlemen. Can I tell you the biggest realization I'm having when dealing with this is I just want to be honest with people moving forward. That's really like, I want to be honest with people moving forward. Not that I wasn't horribly dishonest before, but I think I was people-pleasing and being careful about my opinions. And now I just want to throw them out there. I can't really think of any major opinions right now that... I mean, I did, like a moment ago when I was talking about the Honda Fit and how the car irritates me, I don't think I would have had the courage to talk about that in a podcast until getting the diagnosis of having a brain cyst. It took the cyst to give me the courage to complain about compact cars. See, sometimes every cyst has a silver lining that you hope doesn't break, because if it does, you're dead. That was one thing I looked up was, when studying people who have these cysts and, the percentage that got bigger stayed the same or disappeared. And I think that one research article I read, there was a case where, two of them disappeared because they hemorrhaged. But the one thing the article didn't mention was whether or not that killed the people. I did ask ChatGPT if, because I have this now, am I at risk? And one thing it did say is that if I get a head injury, that it might increase the chances of there being complications, because it might pop the cyst. So, I think my dreams of joining the MMA will have to be put on a shelf. I am talking about it as much as possible to get feedback from people, because that's the closest I have to a healthcare system. Like, get a second opinion. That's what everyone was telling me. Get a second opinion. I'm like, I'm getting 50 opinions. I don't trust. I'm getting 100 opinions. And then I'm going to take those 100 opinions to another 100 people. There's going to be a spreadsheet of opinions on this one. Like, I could get the cup of noodles, or I have these noodles at home that I could make. I think I'm just going to go for the cup of noodles. We'll do a cup of noodles, I'll go to bed. I'll sleep for 3 hours, I'll wake up. Because I have insomnia. Did I mention that the pineal region is what controls sleep, and there's a cyst on it? And I've had this insomnia thing for a while. Anyone? Ladies? Am I right, ladies? But there's no way of knowing if I'm symptomatic or asymptomatic. Nobody knows. Nobody really knows. The brain is still so much of a mystery. I feel like we're in this weird period in medicine and science where they can tell us there's something wrong, but they don't know how to fix it. It's very frustrating. But What can I do? Just keep going. Until I don't. Why do I have the feeling that this is not going to be what kills me? It's going to be something out of left field. No one thought to look at my pinky toe. That's going to be the death of me. It's some weird thing down there. And in hindsight, why didn't he check his pinky toe? He should have checked it. I feel like I'm kidding. What if I'm not kidding? That's what's freaking me out about this. Well, I'm glad I have the courage to complain about hatchbacks, finally. See, people can change. People can find their courage in the least likely of places. Now, I've aired my grievances about hatchbacks. All right, that's good enough.